Today, my dear friends, we have so much awesome news. From Din Djarin's new ship to production on the Ahsoka series beginning early, there is so much to get through. As always, my dear friends, before we dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and also be sure to give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post a new video. But as we say around these parts, without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's just dive straight into it. Yesterday we got the Book of Boba Fett chapter 4, and it's very clear that Boba and Fennec are going to recruit Din Djarin. As I mentioned in my full episode breakdown, Mando is likely on Mandalore, but he could just as well be on Nevarro. In either case, Bespin Bulletin just broke some awesome news about what Din Djarin is going to be flying when we see him next week. As we saw in The Mandalorian Season 2, the Razor Crest is now destroyed, and so Mando needed a new ship. Well, it seems like, according to Bespin Bulletin, Mando has picked up a Naboo N1 starfighter, which is a huge callback to the Phantom Menace. Let's see what Bespin Bulletin had to say. Rumours have been swirling for many months that Din Djarin is going to appear in the Book of Boba Fett. The rumour originated with Cinelinx, and since then, many other reporters have said they've heard the same thing. They've now heard not only is he going to appear in the series, but at some point, he's also going to pilot an N1 starfighter. This information isn't brand new though, because over 14 months ago, Making Star Wars first broke the news. So it appears as though we could see Mando in his new ship next week. And if we're lucky, it could come with an astromech droid with it. Now that Boba Fett has recruited Black Krrsantan and is looking to recruit Mando and probably Bo-Katan because she'll go wherever the Darksaber is, we must wonder who else Boba will hire. If Mando is on Nevarro, he could seek out Greef Karga, who is well connected with the Bounty Hunters Guild. This may be how Bossk and Dengar come into the series, but what about some other familiar faces? Aside from Bounty Hunters, we may run into someone like Captain Rex, and you'll see exactly why I'm saying that in a moment, and this brings us on to our next subject. In a new interview with BuzzFeed, Ming-Na Wen and Temuera Morrison take Star Wars quizzes for fun. In one question they were asked which creature would they travel the galaxy to steal, and Temuera Morrison answered Ewoks, and he follows it up by saying they were great to work with. Ming-Na Wen even agrees with him. Now this has got a lot of fans confused, and in my opinion there are three options. Either he was joking, or he confused Ewoks for Jawas, or there are Ewoks coming in a future episode. Ming-Na Wen is a diehard Star Wars fan, and she would not make that mistake, so if he was confusing Ewoks for Jawas, she would have corrected him. I suspect we are going to see them, and this might be how Captain Rex plays into the series. He served during the Battle of Endor, and for all we know, he may still be there. If you think back to that 4chan plot leak, they claimed that Captain Rex is going to appear alongside Echo. Now, Echo aside, we all assumed that the Ahsoka series would be the show that gives us a live-action Rex, but he might appear in the Book of Boba Fett first. If Boba and Fennec hear word that he's out there, he would make for a wonderful ally. He may be very old at this point, but he's got muscle and brains, something which Boba values. I really can't see why else we'd be taken to Endor in this series, but if we do go and we see Ewoks, I really hope we see Wicket. Now, as for Echo, I hope in some way, shape or form, this series does tie into the Bad Batch in some way. And the biggest connecting point, in my opinion, is Fennec Shand. She had run-ins with them in Season 1, and she was set up to have a bigger role in Season 2. The events of the Bad Batch are 30 years before the Book of Boba Fett, but given that some of them may still be around, definitely Omega, but maybe someone like Echo, I can't imagine her not bringing them up at some stage, especially given that Omega is the only other unaltered Jango Fett clone, so really she's Boba Fett's sister. But as I've said in the past, Omega will be saved for a future season of the Book of Boba Fett. There is still so much of a backstory to explore in the Bad Batch Season 2. And speaking of which, my dear friends, we do have some release date news. In the most recent edition of Star Wars Insider, it says that Season 2 of the Bad Batch is coming soon in the spring of this year. This may be a bit confusing because we haven't had any concrete dates yet, but it is expected that Kenobi will release on May the 4th. But leaker Jordan Mason on Twitter contributed some valuable insight, and he states that he's heard there will be overlap between the Bad Batch Season 2 and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Unfortunately, that's just the way it has to be. After all, if the Bad Batch does release a month or two before Kenobi, it's still going to run for 16 weeks, so some overlap is inevitable. But I think it is safe to say in terms of popularity that Kenobi is going to shadow most, if not all of the attention that the Bad Batch will get. That's not to say fans won't watch both, we absolutely will, but we all know that the Kenobi series is the highlight of Star Wars this year, and I can't help but wonder, since there is an overlap in scheduling, if there's also going to be an overlap in storyline. After all, the Kenobi series is set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and the Bad Batch Season 2 is also going to plunge us into the Imperial era. There could be elements of the Mount Tantiss story that play into both shows. Wouldn't that be an absolute treat? Now, speaking of release dates, my dear friends, we also have some great news for the Ahsoka series. Production is starting this very month instead of in March when it was scheduled. Things are looking way ahead of schedule, and principal photography is set to begin in a matter of days. This is amazing news because it means Ahsoka could be the early spring release of next year. I've said it before, and you know damn well I'm gonna say it again here. The Mandoverse saved Star Wars. The talent of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, as well as others like Peyton Reed, Bryce Dallas Howard, and others, have really set the standard for what Star Wars TV shows are all about. And I have no doubt Ahsoka is going to blow us away, just as The Mandalorian did, and of course the Book of Boba Fett. But I have a question for you guys that I want you to leave the answer to in the comments down below. Which one character in the Ahsoka series do you want to see the most? We don't have a cast announcement yet, and it's very vague which characters are going to appear, but out of the likely options and speculation, which one character do you want to see the most? Is it Sabine Wren? Is it Ezra? Thrawn? Let me know down below. And finally, my dear friends, a big update for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. A new rumour states it's going to be out for purchase on April 5th. This is according to a new leak on the Microsoft Store, which also says the game is going to include 20 DLC packs. And to add to this, it's worth noting that Bespin Bulletin claimed they've heard April or May as a release date. In either case, we can expect a release in the next 5 months. The game was first announced in an interview with Matthew Wood at Celebration in 2019. TT Games were very ambitious with the game, and as a result, it's faced many delays. But finally, at long last, it is set to be released in spring of 2022. More specifically, April the 5th, 5 days before my birthday, so I do look forward to playing it then. It's going to include not only the entire Skywalker saga, but also elements of The Mandalorian, The Clone Wars, and The Bad Batch. Super exciting stuff. I can't wait for it. And just one quick tidbit, Production Weekly, who gave us the news about Ahsoka, are now saying that The Mandalorian Season 3 will end filming on March the 23rd. So there is still a good chance we do get Mando Season 3 this year, but it's going to be very late. Probably like the Book of Boba Fett, releasing in late December. In either case, we will be ready. But let me know your thoughts on this and everything else we spoke about in the comments down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, and a huge welcome if you are. And why not consider becoming a patron? You not only support the channel, but you also get access to over 100 videos that are not found here on YouTube, and you also get access to our Discord server. But until the next one, my dear friends, I'm Star Wars Meg. May the Force be with you, always.